Welcome to the Diary of the Pan-African Preacher. There is an African proverb that says, "Evil has its hour, but good has its day." Every preacher must first understand what the biblical text meant to its original audience in their historical and cultural context, and then interpret its message in light of today's context. This Pan-African preacher went to Isaiah 10, verses 1 through to 3, where I saw the ancient peoples of Israel and Judah had been robbed blind by the rich and powerful, oppressive systems. It reads, "Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive people with low incomes of their rights, and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey and robbing the fatherless." When it came to interpreting this text for my contemporary congregation, I found that the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank were now the culprits. Both the IMF and the World Bank are global institutions, but their voting power is based on financial contributions called quotas rather than population or development needs. The United States have 16 to 17% of IMF votes. The European countries, including the UK, have 33 to 35% of votes, which means they together effectively control key decisions from lending conditions to leadership appointments. This gives them veto power. By contrast, all sub-Saharan African countries combined has less than 5% of the votes, despite representing 1 billion people. The high cost of capital faced by developing countries remain one of the most pressing structural inequalities in the global financial system. It shapes everything from fiscal stability to infrastructure investment and climate action, ultimately constraining development. Developed states often pay several times more to borrow than advanced economies, not because their needs are inherently riskier, but because the global financial architecture and perceptions of risk are stacked against them. The contrast between Ghana and Germany illustrates this disparity. Germany, a highly rated European economy, borrows at interest rates of around 2 to 3% on 10-year bonds. Ghana, on the other hand, pays between 20 to 25% to borrow over similar terms. The consequence is profound. While Germany can borrow $1 billion and pay only $20 million annually in interest, Ghana would pay around $200 million, 10 times as much for the same sum. The difference is not merely a technical or financial issue. It translates into schools not being built, hospitals being underfunded, and renewable energy projects being put on hold. This is daylight robbery of poor people in Ghana, Zimbabwe, and Brazil. Woe to them! Their judgment is on the way. Ashe.